I just checked in with somebody in Tampa Bay, which was largely expecting him to come back, or they were at least hopeful over recent weeks. And I was told that, hey, we always respected his process, and maybe he was simply having too much fun in retirement, and got comfortable and has a lot of endeavors off the field. So it sort of came to that. The momentum seemed to be swinging maybe the other way. You heard a little hints recently of him wanting to maybe fade out. Knowing that his career is intact. He's won championships with Tom Brady. He's done really everything you would want to do in the game. And he's preserved his health for the most part.
RG3, Robert Griffin III. What does this mean for Tom Brady and the Bucs? I know they're a very, very good team. But one of the reasons I felt like, they can mess around and win a Super Bowl is because I just assumed Gronk would be there. What does this mean for Brady now?
Yeah, Gronk was a big piece of what they did on offense, especially in the red zone. They're the #1 ranked offense in the red zone over the past 2 seasons while he's been there. But they did draft Cade Otton out of Washington to kind of be that Gronk mold. Of course, Gronk, I agree with you, Max, greatest tight end ever. You can't replace that guy. But I'm extremely sad because we're not going to see any more Gronk spikes. He brings so much more to the game than just his level of play. The Bucs are going to have to, move on without him and learn how to fill that void, and that's Tom Brady's security blanket. So, that's a tough football question, but I'm interested to see what's next for Gronk because he's an exciting guy to kind of follow.
You say security blanket. That's right, but not a mascot. It's not like, lovable Gronk's on the team, and he's just – I guarantee you this. They found themselves in a deep playoff game in the Super Bowl. Gronk's coming away with at least 7 points. He's catching at least 1 touchdown. It doesn't mean that touchdown's now going to someone else. He is a tough cover, even at his age. So what does this mean for their whole offense? I know, look, Jeremy, they can draft another guy. It doesn't make him Rob Gronkowski, even at this age.
No, it doesn't. They're fairly thin right now. They drafted a mid-round tight end, and they have Cam Brate, who's been a reliable pass-catching target. But certainly they were set up for Gronk to come back. They let O.J. Howard, their former first-round pick, walk in free agency. He now signed with Buffalo. And so, they could even try to look to, the free agency market. There's a Jared Cook, guys like that out there, a few veterans that could maybe help. But right now they probably need it.
RG3, I said for my money, he's the great. If I'm making a team and I can have anyone, I want him at tight end. A lot of people would say Tony Gonzalez, and there are several other very, very good choices, guys to choose from. But I would take Gronk. Why would you? Why would he be your all-time tight end?
Yeah, I just feel like what Gronk brought to the game from an athleticism standpoint. Yes, I know Tony Gonzalez, basketball player, played for a really, really long time. But Gronk was just different. I still remember him catching a ball on the sideline against Washington and dragging 2 defenders on the sideline as he on his way to go score a touchdown. So Gronk's the only tight end that has ever retired, went to the WWE as a wrestler, and came back to win a Super Bowl. I want that guy on my team.
And that's the other thing. If you're associated with Brady and Belichick, and you all know all the Super Bowls, then he goes to Tampa, wins another one with it. He's got every box checked and then some. He could catch. He was impossible matchup. He could really block. As the separation kind of went down, his blocking was savage. He could lay licks on people, and on top of that, has all the hardware, has all the rings. Boy, it's a whole lot for Rob Gronkowski. So let's get more into the Bucs right now. Without Gronk, they're still a powerhouse, but is he the difference for you, Jeremy? Let me start with you. Is he the difference between, I think the Bucs are getting out of the NFC, and now I don't know, and now I don't think they are? What kind of a difference maker is he? Will his absence mean for you?
Well, it certainly hurts, but luckily for the Bucs, they have some of the best depth in the NFL. If you look at position by position, they have a lot of top 10 marquee players. Now, they don't have one anymore at that specific position, but they're pretty deep at wide receiver. The key is you wish Chris Godwin was healthy going into the year, because then you have 2 staples at receiver between Godwin and Mike Evans. But Godwin's still coming back from that ACL. He'll be ready eventually, but maybe not for week 1. So the offense is going to have to sort of manufacture points early in the season. You'll probably see a lot of Leonard Fournette. You see some passes out of the backfield, but this is still a high-level team, Gronk or not. I think they'll be fine, and I'm always counting on Tom Brady to figure it out.
Speaking of Tom Brady figuring it out, Robert, a lot of times the gridiron, the game, will retire a player. This is the player walking away from the game. However, it does not escape my attention that his quarterback retired this very offseason and then came back. What do you think the odds are Tom Brady could pick up the phone and be like, okay, you've had your fun. I did the same thing. Now announce that you're coming back. Do you think that could happen?
Yes, I actually do think that could happen for Gronk. This could be him saying, you know what, I'm done right now. You talked about having Gronk in the playoffs. I'm more than sure if Brady really needed it and picked up the phone first week of the playoffs, second week of the playoffs, and he called Gronk, Gronk would come running excitingly to come back and play. So I just think for me, with Gronk, the Bucs were the favorite. Without him, they're just another contender. And I think it'll really show up as you get later and later in the season when Brady doesn't have his security blanket anymore.
Hey, Jeremy, like, oh, he wants to miss minicamp, he wants to miss this, he wants to miss that. What if, just what if Gronk's like, I want to miss a little more than that, right? Like, what is that possible, do you think? And Brady can call him at some point during the season and be like, come on, man, no Godwin, I need you.
Well, Max, we got it right here. I'm looking at my inbox, and there's a text from Agent Drew Rosenhaus to our Adam Schefter about it would not surprise me if Tom Brady calls him during the season to come back and Rob answers the call. That's the agent's opinion, but it does at least plant the seed, and it's sort of what everybody's wondering, right? Could he come back in like week 8 or week 10, sort of help this Bucs offense figure it out?
Oh, by the way, as we're talking about it, here's Drew Rosenhaus, Gronkowski's agent. It would not surprise me, this is from Gronk's rep, it would not surprise me if Tom Brady calls him during the season to come back and Rob answers the call. Right, there it is. You just talked about it, Jeremy. This is just my opinion. I wouldn't be surprised if Rob comes back during the season or next season. These, by the way, does this even count? Since when is that? Tom Brady and these guys retiring for 30 days, 40 days, 2 months, part of... Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.